Recording in progress.
Okay, so we have got the recording on. And just keeping a wee eye on the wait room because I know we've got a few people registered today. But what I'll do is, because the intention is to keep these sessions to short, sharp, and sweet. So the idea is 20 to 30 minutes over your lunch break if you're Europe based. To get some career help advice tips. And so I don't want to drag on too long because obviously everyone has to get back to their desk. And so I will get started, and as people join, I will let them in. So if you're already in, please say hello in the comments. Use the chat bar. That's where we'll do a lot of the conversation at these sessions. If you haven't been before, I'll introduce myself in a moment, but the chat bar is where we ask questions, share information. So just plug away in there. Let me know who's watching today. Who have we got live with us? And by the way, if you're watching the recording, I'd love hearing from you as well. So down below, hopefully you will have the opportunity to say hello and ask any questions as well. I try and keep an eye on people that have watched the replay. So let's get started. For those that are already here live, thank you for joining and thank you for being so prompt. My name is Julie Cullen, and if you haven't met me before, one of the reasons I do this is because it frustrates me when I see very competent and capable people who are not being given access to good career opportunities because they either lack confidence or access to good career advice. And that's one of the reasons I set up my training and coaching program, to help people develop their confidence and progress in their careers. And so one of the things I do on the back of that are these lunch and learns, chance for you to get to know me to get to know you, and to share a little bit of career advice. So today's topic is about developing your strategic network. So I'd love to know, for those of you that are currently on live, maybe type in the comments what you perceive to be a strategic network in comparison to maybe the rest of your network, because they are different. So you get a strategic network and you've got your wider network. So have a little think and drop in the comments whether you believe your network is strategic or not. But what you're going to learn to do today is discover the types of people that you need in your network that will help you in your career. And that's what your strategic network basically is. So you connect with lots of people throughout your career, right? But have you ever stopped to think about who you really need to connect with and why, and what that person can do to help you in your career? It's one of the things you should be thinking of if you want to develop your career, especially as you grow further up the career ladder. Because building a professional network is one of the most important strategies to have for a successful career. There's a couple of things you have to be doing for your career success, and one of them is building your professional network. So you may have heard the term in the past, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And it's very, very true. You know, some people consider that to be a bad thing. You know, that somehow getting on because of who you know is cheating or getting an unfair advantage somehow. But it's not. Right? It's how all successful professionals and entrepreneurs build their career. Because at the end of the day, people promote people they know, like, and trust. You know it yourself. How can anyone know if you're the right person for the job if they don't really know you? You would never recommend somebody for an opportunity if you didn't trust that you knew they could do well, because it's your reputation as well. So the same works for as you climb the career ladder. People need to know you. Now, people tell me that they find it intimidating. They feel like it's inauthentic to build a relationship with a defined purpose of getting something from them. Right? I hear comments like, oh, it feels fake or inauthentic, or I feel like a fraud. I don't know what to say. I don't like being pushy. These are the kind of connotations that I hear, the words that I hear when we talk about building relationships in a strategic manner. Okay, so tell me if you recognize some of those words. Does that resonate with you? Type in the comments in the chat. Does it feel inauthentic for you to actually approach someone with a view to getting something from them to help you in your career? Because I'm hoping by the end of this 20-30 minutes, you will start to change that mindset. Okay, so I can see there's a few people joined live. I'll keep an eye on the weight room as we go through this. But what I want to ask you is whether or not you've given some thought to the type of people that should be in your network. So if you've got any ideas, type in the chat, who is someone in your network that you would consider they're there specifically to help you in your career? What would be their role in your network? Dan says, it's hard, I think, advocate for yourself as a woman, men feel more comfortable doing this. It's interesting you say that, Diana, and that's one of the pieces of work I do in my my confidence coaching, is because you're right, sometimes women are find it particularly challenging to be a little bit more forward, and that's one of the things that we need to develop more of. It's not enough to say, oh, it's not fair that somebody else is getting an advantage. It's their own behaviour. We need to change our own behaviour. So if we know that you need to be able to advocate yourself, then it's how do you do that? And then if we need to know who do we need to connect with that can help us, can help advocate for us as well. So it's good to have people in your network that can advocate for you, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But also being able to speak up and say, well, this is what I want and this is the help that I need, and you're the person I want to help, want to help me. So building that confidence, you're absolutely right. So I hope, Diana, that some of what you hear today will help you and give you that kickstart to work towards that. Okay, so in terms of the roles, there's, according to the Harvard Business Review, they talk about 5 key relationships that you need to build a successful career. So I'm going to share these with you today. And I want you to start thinking about, do you have these people in your network already? If not, why not? Who would you go and identify as the people that you need to go and pull into your network? And then how do you kick that off? Okay. Eleanor, you say, I don't feel it's underhand if you're upfront about why you'd like to have a coffee with them. Exactly. It's a normal professional practice, and more of us need to be comfortable doing it. Okay, so the 5 relationships that you need. The first one, the one that normally everybody mentions, I've not seen it mentioned so far, but the one that normally everybody mentions because it's talked a lot about in the workplace, is a mentor. So your mentor is someone who helps you clarify your career options. So they understand the career path you want to take, and they help you guide you in the right direction. Now you can have formal mentor, you can have informal mentors. Formal mentoring often is sponsored by the company you work for, and it involves very regular, maybe weekly or monthly meetings to help you with the fundamental objective that you want to achieve. So they will have some insight into what's needed to get ahead. They've maybe done what it is that you aspire to do, and so they can give you some guidance on what you need to do, what skills you need to build, what kind of opportunities and jobs that you need to take on the journey to achieve that end goal. And they can also help you navigate the political landscape, because that's another challenge that many of us have, is many people, particularly women, do often find themselves feeling uncomfortable with the political landscape. So they can help you with that as well. So basically, mentor is someone who you turn to for guidance. They will help you with industry knowledge if you need to expand yours, help you have a difficult conversation. They might give you some feedback on what you've achieved so far, and even just give you some encouragement when things are getting tough, because sometimes it can get tough. So mentoring is all about, you should be able to just go and talk to that person about anything and feel comfortable sharing where you are, what your challenges are, and where you're trying to get to, so they can help you. Okay, now these conversations should also help you increase your own self-awareness so that you grow both professionally and personally. Okay, so type in the chat, do you guys have a mentor already in your workplace, whether it's formal or informal, that person that you turn to for guidance? Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum of the mentor is the mentee. So obviously, if you've got a mentor, you're the mentee or the protege or whatever language you choose to use. And it's interesting that the HBR advise that having a mentee, being a mentor yourself, is a key relationship in your network. And people don't think about that. but having a mentor-mentee relationship tends to be, there's a bit of give and take there. There's a bit of a win-win for both people. So if you have a mentee, that's something that serves you in terms of your own personal development. You grow your leadership skills, skills such as strong communication, creativity, empathy. As a mentor, you're a leader and a role model. So you learn to bring out the best in others, recognizing their strengths, giving them feedback, and helping and supporting them. So that role actually pushes you to be better and strive for more. It helps you develop a lot of the skills. If you have any desire to kind of get into a leadership type role, then that's giving you the bedrock of training. And that mentor-mentee relationship can often go right through your career. As the two of you go down your different career journeys, you can both help each other out. So if you're not already mentoring someone, sorry, my word's not working there, think about it. Think about who could you help. It could be somebody that's just joined the company, just onboarding. It could be a colleague who's wanting to achieve a certain objective that maybe that you've already achieved, and you can help and support them. There's lots of different ways in which you can help another individual as their mentor. So 2 roles: mentor, you want to be mentored by somebody, and then mentee, you want to be the mentor. So that's the 2 first key roles. So I'm saying in the comments, then you don't formally have a mentor. Your ex-boss helped you, yeah. Okay, and now that there's been a restructure, different boss, different challenges. And you're right, sometimes if I look at my career journey and my corporate career, I had a lot of very good managers. I was very career driven. I always had an objective, somewhere I was trying to get to. They knew it, they knew what I needed, and they knew I would do whatever it takes in terms of personal development to get there. So I was really lucky to have a lot of good managers that could help me with that. What I saw happening as a lot of restructures take place, and there's a lot more pressures on individuals as companies downsize, managers are getting dragged more into doing a lot of tasks and having less people time with their teams. So that's something to bear in mind, is that sometimes it might be helpful to have a mentor that's outside your reporting structure. Especially if one of your challenges is your reporting structure, having that outside body that can help you deal with that is always a good thing to do. So I would always recommend looking outside your own direct line of report for a mentor if you can. Also take advantage of the fact that if you have a good manager, then they can also mentor you. And I love the fact that you say you're now onboarding buddy for new sales reps who join. That's fantastic. That's really, really good. It's such a great thing to do. Such great feedback, especially new people joining. The bigger the organisation, the tougher it is to navigate around. So it's always good to have somebody helping out. So well done you for doing that and giving your time. It's something, make sure your bosses know that you're doing this. Make sure it comes up on your performance reviews, that you are giving back. You are not just helping yourself in your career, but you're helping other people in their career, which is good for the company, and it's always appreciated and recognised in those reviews. So we've talked about mentor-mentee. The third relationship is a sponsor. So a lot of people mix up sponsor and mentor, but they are distinctly different. A mentor will give you advice, give you perspective, help you give guidance. A sponsor, and the word was used earlier, a sponsor will advocate on your behalf. So in some cases, they will actually directly present you with career advancement opportunities, or they will put your name in front of other people when opportunities come up. Those behind the closed door conversations that take place, that many managers, senior leaders will have about opportunities that are coming up, who are the right people for it. If you have a sponsor, they're willing to say, I've got a candidate who'd be perfect for that role. It happened to me in my career when I was moving from a sort of service planning back office role into a front office working with clients. I'd never done that before, really didn't know anybody in that space except for one individual who knew that I was trying to achieve that and saw that I was going down the wrong path. So he held me back. You're going down the wrong path. This is the path you want to go on. And by the way, there's a new opportunity coming up and I want to put your name forward for it. And he did, and mine was the only name that went forward for it. And I got that opportunity, and it was one of the best jobs I ever had in my whole corporate career. So a sponsor will very much put you front and centre in those situations that can help move your career forward. Now, sponsorship, unlike a mentor you can approach somebody and say, I would like you to be my mentor, and this is why. And you two can have a coffee conversation and decide if it's right for both of you, and then you enter into some sort of formal arrangement. Sponsorship is different. You don't actually necessarily approach somebody and ask them to be your sponsor. A sponsor needs to know who you are, what you're capable of. So that, again, look at your general network and say, well, who sits in those kind of levels where they could provide sponsorship, and make sure that you have a close relationship with them. Make sure they know, even if it is just buying them a coffee and giving them an update on what you're up to, so that they're aware of where you are, what you've achieved, what you want to do next, so that you're in their minds if those opportunities come up. Okay, does that make sense? I hope so. So mentors are great at helping you grow and develop. Sponsors can directly help you advance your career. Sometimes the one person can actually provide both of those roles for you. Often they're separate. Okay. Now the third one, I realise we're at 20 minutes already. Oh, nearly 20 minutes already. I really need to speak more quickly if we're going to keep these to 20-30 minutes. Right. Third relationship, partnership. See, I used to take about 45 minutes to an hour to do workshops. Now I'm trying to condense them so more people can get the opportunity to attend and fit them into their lunch break. Okay, so a partnership is a mutually beneficial peer relationship. This is the one that you might have been thinking of when you struggle and think about how you start that relationship, how you have that conversation. Because this one seriously is a I scratch your back, you scratch mine type relationship, right? It's about a shared drive to succeed and the recognition that the two of you can do it better together. So your partner can help collaborate with you, can be a connector for you, can help you with your network, your personal brand, can help with projects. So it's what we would call a transactional. It's a quid pro quo relationship. You each have the intention to elevate yourselves by elevating each other. You're helping each other out. And as I say, this is the one people struggle to cultivate because there's this feeling that it's wrong, that you don't want people to think that you're just using them for what they can give you. But it's not. A pure partnership is, yeah, you might get something now, but there will come a point when you can give something back. Sometimes it will happen straight away, sometimes it will be later. But the partnership is there, and there's that understanding. I helped you in that situation, and further down the line, they might come back and say, well, I'm now looking for some help from you. So there's two types. There's what's called the complementary partnership. So that's a partnership with someone whose personality and work ethic complements yours, but might fill the gaps in your working style. So for example, if you're an introvert, someone who doesn't like public speaking, then look for a partner who enjoys presenting and who's willing to promote your shared projects and you when doing that. So they could take the lead in that respect, but you could take the lead in a different part of the project to share and complement each other. Now, if you're a strategic big picture person who's not very good at details, then try and partner with somebody who is strong in analytics and operations and doing the details. How can you collaborate together in partnership to do that? Okay, and the second type of partner is someone who is working towards the same outcome as you, but they might work in a different function or organisation. So example, somebody mentioned sales earlier on. So maybe you both work in different parts of the company, you both sell different products from the company or different services within the company, but you can help each other out by making introductions within your client network. So if you are in that sales type role, then it's always good to have lots of relationships across different parts of your company who also have connections with your client, because there's somebody you might want to speak to over there in the client that you don't have a relationship with that they do. So you can use that for an introduction. Okay, so partnerships are really, really good. A good way to start off a partnership is to see if there's anyone that you can help. for you to start advocating for other people's work? Who reciprocates? Who do you feel you're drawn to? You know, what makes a good partnership is the collaboration and the working together. Okay, so we've talked about mentor-mentee partnership. Mentor-mentee sponsor partnership. So the final one is the competitor. This is one I had never thought of before until I read the Harvard Business Review, but having worked in sales, it makes sense. It's a great one. And it's not just for salespeople. So don't turn off if you're not in sales just yet, because I will give you some examples that are not sales related, where there is competition that could be an alliance for you, a competitor that could turn out to be an alliance for you. So when you're in competition, it's healthier if you can focus, or both the people are within that environment are focused on achieving a win-win, rather than a win-lose where you're battling for resources, right? So if you use your competitive connections correctly, you can improve your skills, improve your leadership performance, you can get better ideas, you can get a bigger drive to get things done. It improves a lot of skill set for you personally, that will help you in terms of leadership skills. Okay, the competition isn't just external to the company you work in. Sometimes it is, and I've collaborated. I used to work in the IT industry, and I collaborated with people from other organizations when I was in service delivery, because we were all delivering service for the same client. And sometimes when there was a problem, it would get resolved better when we collaborated together to fix the problem. So that's working with my competition. Now, they're after, from a sales perspective, they're after the same business, as the different organisations are in competition with each other. But as service delivery, we work so much better when we collaborated. Okay, and the same works at an individual level. So, say for example, you and a colleague have got an idea for executing on a project, right? But your ideas are different. Now, in that scenario, you could go head to head with each other, you know, trying to prove that your idea is the better of the two. You know, going into the department meeting and say to the boss, no, here's my idea, and not here's my idea, and get into this kind of, right? That's a win-lose situation. Someone is going to lose, and you may come out on the wrong side of that. You don't want that to happen. Now, a leader would see the potential for that opportunity and would actually come together with their competitor and say, well, let's collaborate. How can we bring these two ideas together to produce something that's more effective, a better solution, a more valuable solution, something that we could collaborate on and pitch to the manager or to the project team. And that impresses people more. When you're being assessed as leadership potential, then you're showing that you have the ability not to go into battle because it's all about me and my ego and I want my project to win or I want my idea to be put through, but you're saying, I can see a bigger picture here, let's not get into battle, let's collaborate and let's see if we can do something together. So you actually move the person from being in a competitive situation with you into being a partnership position with you. So I'm going to pause there. I've talked a lot. I want to see some comments in the chat. Does that make sense? The whole partnership and competitor thing, because you may not have heard that before. Mentor, mentee, even sponsor gets branded about quite a lot in companies and business. But partnership and competition and moving competitive relationships into partnership relationships doesn't get talked about a lot, but it is so valuable. And if you ever watch any salespeople that you really admire, watch them do this. They collaborate so well, cross-organisation, cross-business, cross-companies, cross-industry. They are just so good at it. But it doesn't just relate to salespeople. We can do that as well with our colleagues, with colleagues from other departments, colleagues from other parts of the organisation. We work so much better when we collaborate in partnership. So Eleanor, yes, thank you for that. Yes, they are good ideas. So what you want to do now, I'm going to wrap up. Those are the 5 key roles. You want to now put what I would call a strategic lens on your network. Do you have those 5 roles covered? Who would fit? So there'll be people in your network who are great to have in your network, but you want to think about who's in your strategic network, the network that you specifically will help you grow in your career. Those 5 roles: mentor, mentee, sponsor, partner, competitor. Who would fit those roles in your organisation? And then think about, or not even in your organisation, just who in your network fits those roles. What kind of relationship do you have with them? Are you already connecting regularly with them? Or do you need to do more? So do you need to move from that knowing that this is what you need to do, to doing the doing, taking the person for a coffee, sit down and phoning them or emailing them and asking them if they will connect with you in a certain way or do something for you that you need some help with. And also look for people in your network who you can help. Kick off that mentee partnership engagement by saying, oh, Julie, I see you're struggling with this. I've got some experience. Would you like some help? Oh, Julie, I heard you're interested in doing such and such. Do you want me to hook you up with Joe Blogs? They've done it before, might be able to help you. There's so many ways you can engage with people to develop those relationships that will build into partnerships. Okay, so I'm going to wrap up there because we're going to come up to the 30th minute. So if you want to take part in more of these live and know when they're coming up, I'm going to put a little link in the chat bar. Go there, type your name and address in, and you will get notification about what's coming up on each of these weekly Lunch and Learns, so you can decide what topics are of interest to you and register for the ones that are. Next week, next Friday, I am going to be talking about sabotaging your career and how to stop sabotaging your career. So if you feel stuck and your career's not moving forward in the way that you had expected, there may be some behaviours or actions that you're taking that could be sabotaging your career. And Diane, you kind of picked up on one of the ones about advocating for yourself and how some of us find it a challenge. So there'll be a little bit more on that if you want to pop along. It's the same registration page as you already registered for this one on. So pop in there and register if you think that'd be of interest to you. Or otherwise, yeah, just go and log in, register for the newsletter. Every Thursday morning, 8 o'clock, you'll get an email letting you know what's happening that week or that month. Okay, so Diane, thank you for this. It was so insightful. You did inscribe for your next workshops. Fantastic. Looking forward to seeing you then. Wrapping up for now. Take care, enjoy the rest of your day, and have a lovely weekend. Bye for now.